Hello to all CINEMASTER lovers, hope you enjoy watching. Let's get started. The second season of the series Wednesday begins with Wednesday tied up in a scary place, surrounded by a group of dolls. Wednesday tells us that she is in the basement of a serial killer who thinks she will be his new victim. She explains that she spent the whole vacation training to master her supernatural ability, using Judy's book full of magical spells. Wednesday recounts that 6 weeks ago she decided to search for the thing that had possessed her when she was 6 years old, while she was investigating a serial killer, a killer no one could catch because he was highly elusive. To locate him, she needed a clue from his last crime, and with the help of Sing, Wednesday finds a bowling ball belonging to the killer's last victim. As soon as Wednesday touches the ball, she experiences a shock and has a vision that reveals the killer's location. But when she goes to capture him, she fails, and he overpowers her and locks her in the basement. Currently, Wednesday tells us the killer thinks he's in control, and she's not planning to change his mind. At that moment, the killer enters with a small doll made in her likeness and prepares to finish her off. Suddenly, Sing appears, attacks the killer, and knocks him to the ground. Wednesday then grabs a knife and approaches the killer. Later, we see Wednesday in her room, with a newspaper article on the wall declaring that a serial killer was caught with the help of a little girl. It's revealed that Wednesday is still writing her novel on her typewriter when her mother, Morticia, enters, urging her not to be late for her first day of school. Morticia says she wished they had spent more time together over the summer. Wednesday apologizes, saying she spent the vacation writing her new novel. Afterward, Wednesday gets in the car with her mother Morticia, her father Gomez, and her brother Pugsley, who will be starting his first year at Nevermore Academy. Gomez is very proud of his son's supernatural abilities, especially since Lurch, the driver, witnessed his training. Notably, Lurch's face is completely pale, with a black left side and a purple right eye, and he appears angry when he remembers that Pugsley blew up the car during training, causing him to lose his right eye. Elsewhere, a man is waiting for someone. After a while, a car arrives and a woman runs to him and hugs him. At the same time, someone is photographing them from afar but is startled to see a black crow perched on the tree behind him with red eyes. The man becomes nervous but resumes his work. Soon, the number of crows increases, and they gather on his car without him noticing. The red-eyed crow caws as if giving an order to attack. The man tries to escape, hiding in his car from the attacking crow. He calls his friend saying he's been exposed and that if he dies, the evidence is in the cabin. As soon as the call ends, he is shocked to find the car full of crows, who suddenly attack and kill him brutally. Back at Nevermore Academy, the gates open for Wednesday and her family. As they get out of the car, Morticia tells Wednesday to look after her brother. Wednesday responds that she always does, and we flash back to see how Wednesday took care of her brother, even putting him in a wooden coffin and nailing it shut. They enter the school, and all the students look at Wednesday in admiration, taking pictures of her with their phones. Some even ask for her autograph, which surprises Wednesday, who says she doesn't care for or like such things. Bianca then appears and tells the new students to stay away from Wednesday, telling her she has become famous after saving Nevermore Academy from the demonic creature. Wednesday remains silent, and Bianca realizes Wednesday is upset about her fame, telling her the more she tries to escape it, the more famous she'll become. After Bianca leaves, Barry, the new principal, appears and greets Wednesday, saying it's an honor to meet the school's savior. He informs her that he will revive the tradition of the founder's bonfire ceremony the next night, and wants her to be the guest of honor. Wednesday says she doesn't like talking about the dead and leaves. Wednesday goes to her room and finds many students celebrating. Her roommate Enid welcomes her and quickly asks everyone to leave. Wednesday notices Enid is interested in their classmate Bruno, and says goodbye to him before he leaves. Enid gives Wednesday a black t-shirt as a gift because she likes black, but Wednesday doesn't like it though she accepts. Wednesday also gives Enid a gift, a doll that closely resembles Enid. Enid is surprised by the gift but accepts and thanks Wednesday. Enid tells Wednesday she has many ambitions for the year, like leading the dance team and joining the Night Shield Society. When Enid asks about Wednesday's ambitions, Wednesday says she plans to avoid people and focus on finishing her new novel. At that moment, Wednesday opens the storage closet in the room, and suddenly an arrow shoots out, hitting her picture with the principal. On the picture is a welcome message for Wednesday. She realizes someone is watching her and tries to find out who through her visions, but fails. She tells Sung she couldn't see who's watching her. Black tears fall from Wednesday's eyes, which Enid notices and points out. Wednesday quickly wipes her tears and tells Enid not to pay too much attention. Wednesday leaves her room to say goodbye to her family, and is surprised that Barry asked Morticia to stay at the school this year, as the head of the fundraising committee, especially after Xavier's mother left the school with her son. Wednesday learns that Xavier will be going to an academy in Switzerland, and won't be at Nevermore this year. Barry then takes Morticia to show her the house she'll live in, saying she can spend the night with her husband and let them know her decision the next day. Afterward, Wednesday asks Morticia why she wants to stay at the school. Morticia says she's worried about her, especially since Judy's absence will disturb her, as Judy is considered her spiritual guide, but her presence beside her will help her until she finds a new guide. So Wednesday tells her that she is one of the ravens and that their path is different in the kingdom of magic, and that she can't help her because she is a dove. Morticia surprises her by saying that she has previous experience with the ravens, so Wednesday tells her that she knows she's talking about her aunt Ophelia, and asks her to take care of her brother and not to worry about her. At this moment, Gomez comes and asks Morticia what has happened. She tells him, shocked, that Wednesday is hiding many things from them and that they need to know, and she says she is afraid history will repeat itself. Later, Wednesday goes out and walks in the forest and notices ambulances and police cars parked on the road. Here we find out that they are transporting the body of Carl. At that time, the police officers are surprised by the way he died. They discover that he was spying on his boss at work with his lover, but for them, that's not enough reason for Carl to be killed in this way. At this moment, Wednesday sees someone running inside the forest. She manages to hit him and knocks him to the ground. It turns out to be Detective Galpin. He tells her the victim's name is Carl, and that he was his friend and they were working together on a case, which is the reason for his death. He says Carl discovered something by accident, and that this thing will affect the outcasts at the school. She asks him in surprise if he has become interested in the outcasts, and he reminds her that his son Tyler is one of them, and even though he knows what he did, it's not his fault. Wednesday tells him his son was bad from the start, but Galpin interrupts her and tells her he needs her help to reach the danger threatening the outcasts. But Wednesday doesn't answer him and leaves. Galpin stops her and tells her that she didn't come to the crime scene by chance, and that there's something hidden that made her come to the place. He tells her if she changes her mind, she can come to him, and warns her about the ravens who are always watching them. At night, one of the students named Jaxie tells the new students a legendary story called The Skull Tree. Jax tells about a smart boy who had a heart disease and spent his days in the hospital drawing strange machines, hoping to build them one day. The doctors told him he would die in a few months, so he decided to design a heart for himself so his body could keep up with his genius mind. The heart transplant operation succeeded, but the new heart changed the boy completely. He became emotionless and always driven by ambition. When he reached Nevermore Academy, they welcomed him as a genius and inventor, but over time his inventions became dangerous. One night, his genius cost him his life when the place he was experimenting in exploded. Jax says legends say the boy's body is buried under a tree called the Skull Tree, and no one could reach this tree because it's in a scary, terrifying place, and only the brave can reach it. Here, ambition appears on Bogusly's face, and it's clear he wants to go to the tree. At the same time, Barry welcomes Bianca into his office, expresses his admiration for her supernatural abilities, and asks if she has aspirations for the future. When she is silent, he offers her to join the fundraising committee, but Bianca apologizes. He tells her she is a scholarship student, and the school is currently in financial distress, and he's afraid she will lose her scholarship. That's why he wants to raise donation money for her. Bianca realizes he is threatening her, so she is forced to join. That same night, the mother opens a book about her sister Ophelia, and sadness appears on her face. Bogusly is in his room looking at the location of the skull tree on the map, and the cold spirit takes out a picture of Principal Larissa and looks at it with sadness and emotion. At the same time, we see an unknown person holding a picture of Wednesday and cutting out her eyes from the photo. Wednesday goes to the music room and keeps playing. At that moment, Capri, the new music teacher, comes in and introduces herself, telling her she noticed she plays to release the pain and sadness inside her. Wednesday tells her she doesn't need lessons from anyone and leaves. The next night, Wednesday is surprised that Xavier sent her a message saying he tried to call her on the phone he gave her, but it was useless. Wednesday remembers the moment she got rid of the phone and threw it in the water. She is surprised that Xavier sent her a painting of a raven with red eyes standing on a magnifying glass. She opens the drawer and discovers her novel is missing, and in its place is her photo with the eyes cut out, along with a message from the person watching her, saying he is a being of fire and will burn her novel tonight at the founder's bonfire party. A group of students passes by her and puts a message in her pocket containing sharp razors. As soon as she holds them, her hand gets cut, but she still opens the message and finds the person watching her, telling her that if she doesn't want her novel to be burned, she should go inside the statue. Wednesday immediately follows the instructions and goes under the statue quickly to find her novel. She keeps walking inside until she finds her novel in front of her. At that moment, Barry welcomes the new students and throws a fire torch at the statue to burn it. Nevertheless, Wednesday walks through the fire to reach her novel and manages to get it before the fire burns it. She gets out at the last moment before the whole statue burns and walks among the students with calm confidence. Barry welcomes her and tells her that without her courage, no one would have been at the celebration, because Wednesday saved the school. He reveals a painting showing Wednesday with her classmates as a symbol of gratitude for saving the school. Barry asks Wednesday to say a word to the new students on this occasion. Wednesday speaks to the students, telling them they still have a long way to go to face and defeat evil. The students like her words and keep clapping, but Wednesday shocks them by setting the painting on fire, telling them she doesn't like being excessively praised. At that moment, Begabili goes to the skull tree and puts his ear to it to hear the heartbeat of the genius boy. Suddenly, a raven comes out of the tree, falls to the ground, and emits a lot of electric shocks. Because of these shocks, a scary-looking corpse comes out from underground. Strangely, Begabili is not afraid and keeps smiling. At this moment, Wednesday is returning to her room, and Enid follows her, puts her hand on her shoulder, and Wednesday feels a strong shock. Black tears fall from her eyes, and she loses consciousness, going to another world full of graves, surrounded by ravens. Wednesday is shocked when she sees a grave with her friend Enid's name on it. Suddenly, Enid appears in a frightening form and attacks Wednesday, telling her that she is dead. Because of her, at that moment, Wednesday wakes up, and black tears are streaming down her face. Her whole body keeps trembling violently. Her mother comes in, shocked by what's happening to her. Wednesday comes to, startled and worried about her friend, but her mother reassures her and tells her that her friend is fine. After that, she takes her and sits with her alone in the room, telling her that she knows the reason for the black tears coming from her eyes. She tells her it's exhaustion that happens when she misuses her supernatural power. Wednesday asks her how to get rid of these tears, but Morticia tells her to take Judy's spellbook first and also tells her not to rush to get rid of the dark powers, and that at the right time, a new guide will appear to lead her in life. But Wednesday says she's in a hurry, leaves her, and walks away. Morticia stops her and tells her that she is her mother, not her enemy, and she must understand that her supernatural gift is a blessing from God, and she must take care of it. But Wednesday doesn't listen and leaves, going to Gulba's house to talk to him. Wednesday keeps knocking on the door, but no one answers, and she is surprised to find the door open, so she's seeing. When she enters, she finds Gulba dead with his eyes gouged out, in the same way his friend Carl died. Wednesday is shocked when she sees many crows coming out of Gulba's mouth, flying around the ceiling as if looking for a way out until they break the glass and leave, but one crow with red eyes remains, standing in front of Wednesday. When she approaches it, it flies away and leaves the room. Wednesday tries to touch Gulba's body, hoping to find something out and learn why the crows killed him. She grabs his body and tries to have a vision, but nothing happened. She tries to focus more until she realizes her supernatural power isn't working, and she feels that something strange is happening. She tries to leave the house but finds the police in front of her, and they arrest her. At the police station, the chief asks her what she was doing at Gulba's house so late. Wednesday says that Gulba had asked her to visit him. The chief tells her that Carl called Gulba before he died in the same way, and the chief wants to know the connection between Gulba and Carl, especially since they searched for Gulba's phone but couldn't find it. She asks Wednesday if she knows anything about it. At that moment, Gomez enters, introduces himself to the chief as her lawyer, and tells her that if she wants to interrogate his daughter, she must submit an official request through the court. He takes his daughter and leaves. On the way back, Gomez asks Wednesday why she went to visit Gulba. She tells him what happened between them the day before, and explains she wanted to know the reason for his friend's death. Gomez blames her for being reckless, and tells her that her mother wouldn't like it if she knew. Wednesday surprises him, and tells him he must take her mother and return home, but Gomez tells her her mother won't agree. Wednesday asks him what happened to her aunt Ophelia, but Gomez refuses to tell her, and says it's better for her to hear the story from her mother. The next day, Obejesley is coming out of Eugene's beehive, and Eugene appears, asking him where he was last night during the party, and what he was doing in his hut. We learn here that Eugene lives with Bejesley in the same room, which is why they are friends. Eugene is startled when he sees the monster that appeared to Bejesley the night before inside the hut. The monster tries to attack Eugene, but Bejesley hits it, and puts it back in its place. It turns out that Bejesley has chained the monster, and treats it like his pet. What's more, this monster is the same young man that Jax told them about, because the artificial heart is inside his body. Jax tells Eugene that the monster's heart started working because of the electricity that came from Bejesley. Although Eugene is afraid of the monster, he offers it honey to eat, but the monster throws the honey back at them. Meanwhile, Wednesday returns to her room and talks to Shinji, telling him she's surprised her power is weakening, and that she saw a vision of Indy dying, and that she herself is the cause of her death. But the matter is related to the crows, and she wants to know the truth. She tells him she's sure she'll find the answer in Judy's book. After that, Wednesday enters her room and is surprised to find that the person watching her has sent her a message on Indeed's mobile. She asks her to call the number that sent the message, and Wednesday is surprised that the phone that messaged her is Galban's phone, and she knows this through a recorded message on the phone. So Wednesday understands that the person who killed Galban is using his phone, and Indeed is terrified of the idea that she might be implicated in Galba's murder, and she blames Wednesday for what's happening because she always gets herself into trouble. She leaves to go to her driving lesson. After that, Wednesday asks Sinji to look in Judy's book for a solution to her weakening power. Wednesday goes to meet Barry, who is with a teacher named Orlov. Wednesday asks him if he knows any students who can control. Orlov tells her that they don't have any students who control birds, and the last one was 10 years ago. We move to Morticia, who is sitting with Bianca, and Bianca tries to convince Morticia to accept being head of the fundraising committee. Then we go to Bejisley and Eugene, who go to feed the monster. After they feed it, they leave, and we see that the food is what gives the monster strength, as it is able to break the chain and free itself. As for Wednesday, she goes to Sinji and finds out that she is going to visit Taylor. She takes Indeed's forgotten driving lesson ticket and impersonates her to get the driving instructor to take her where she wants to go. The instructor is surprised that Wednesday knows how to drive and is highly skilled. When she arrives at her destination, she leaves him and gets out. We find out that Taylor is being held in a mental hospital. As soon as Wednesday enters the hospital, she meets Dr. Fairborn, who is responsible for Taylor's case. Fairborn tells her that Taylor has told her a lot about her before, and it turns out Fairborn knows Wednesday came to visit Taylor because of his father's death. Wednesday asks her if Taylor knows about his father's death. Fairborn tells her she can't know because Taylor is evasive and doesn't speak honestly with anyone. Then they go to where Taylor is being held, and before Wednesday enters, Fairborn tells her she will supervise the meeting, and if she feels any danger, she should press the red button. Wednesday enters to see Taylor, and as soon as Taylor sees her, he says he knew she would come to visit him and tries to attack her, but the guard controls him with the restraints on his body and stops him. Wednesday tells Taylor that his father died the night before, and his friend Carl died the same way his father did. She asks if he has any connection to what happened, but Taylor denies it and tells her that he is locked up in prison and doesn't know anything about what she is saying. So Wednesday realizes she won't be able to get any useful information from him and leaves. But Taylor stops her and asks her to send his regards to Enid, and tells her to inform Enid that he will finish her off as soon as he sees her. As for Wednesday, she will bear the guilt of her friend's death for the rest of her life. Wednesday replies telling him that he is just a stupid student and anyone can use him just as Marilyn did before, and that he has nothing good to offer the world. Taylor gets angry and turns into a monster, but the guard controls him and stops. Wednesday tells him she doesn't need to visit him again, that he's locked up just like any animal in a cage, and then she leaves. At school, Eugene goes to Beasley and tells him that the monster has escaped. At the same time, Enid enters her room with her friend Bruno and chats a bit with Singh to introduce her friend. While they are talking, Enid suddenly notices something strange happening to Bruno. Singh tries to get out of the box, but someone unseen locks him inside and traps. Meanwhile, Bianca goes to Barry in his office. He asks if she managed to convince Morticia to join the fundraising party. She tells him she hasn't done it yet, and it's clear Bianca is unhappy that Barry is exploiting her. She tries to use her power on him to make him stay away, but she fails because Barry is stronger than her. He tells her that he could crush and destroy her in a moment, and asks her to finish her task quickly, or she will face death. That night, Wednesday returns to her room and is surprised to find Singh locked inside the box. She opens it for him and asks about Enid. He points out that she ran off quickly and was screaming, but he doesn't know what happened. Enid's phone rings, Wednesday answers, and the person tells her that he is the one who kidnapped Enid, that the game has begun and she has 30 minutes to find her friend or he will kill her. Elsewhere, we see Wednesday and her friend Bruno chained together. As soon as they wake up, they realize they are in the abandoned Iago Tower. They are surprised because no one has been to that tower in a long time. They try to free themselves, but it's no use, and they want to know who did this to them. Suddenly, a bunch of knives appear above them. Wednesday tries to figure out what's written on the note to find her friend's location. She bumps into Professor Capri by chance, who invites her to play some music, but Wednesday says she's busy. After Capri leaves, Wednesday notices that the note contains musical symbols. She goes to the music room, starts playing, and suddenly a secret place opens up in the classroom, revealing a tunnel. She enters the tunnel, goes down the stairs, finds a mask on the ground, takes it, and continues until she reaches Iago Tower. She rides Hugh Sing, and they go up to the top floor. Wednesday is shocked to find Enid and Bruno chained up. She orders Sing to free them quickly, but Sing doesn't notice there's a trap, and knives fall from the ceiling, one of which hits him and stops. The gears start turning, and the knives begin to descend on Enid and Bruno. Wednesday moves quickly to find a solution and save them. She finds a box with a paper containing a question she must answer to free her friend. Wednesday searches through the surrounding books to find the right answer. Meanwhile, the knives are getting closer to killing Enid and Bruno. Wednesday manages to find the correct answer, writes it quickly, and the knives stop just before killing them. Suddenly, a girl appears out of nowhere. It's the same girl Wednesday met when she first arrived at the school and admired her and her abilities. Her superpower is invisibility. The girl congratulates Wednesday, telling her that today is prank day and that everything that happened was just a prank for the occasion. She introduces herself as Agnes and says she's a huge fan of Wednesday, hoping she liked her power and wants to be like her one day. Wednesday realizes Agnes is behind everything that happened and blames her for killing Carl and Galba. Agnes insists she has nothing to do with the murders, but she took Galba's phone to complete the prank and gives the phone to Wednesday, hoping it will help her find the real killer. Wednesday takes the phone and leaves with her friends. At night, Bianca goes to Morticia to control her and make her call her mother, forcing her to donate the largest amount to the school. We learn this was Barry's plan from the start, as he is after Morticia's mother's fortune. Bianca uses her power on Morticia and makes her promise not to tell anyone about the visit. Morticia, under the influence, agrees. Later, Wednesday returns to her room and discovers her grandfather's book is missing. She suspects her mother took it and plans to scold Sing for what happened. She notices a crow on the window, rushes toward it, but it flies away. In the forest, we see the monster walking among the trees. At the same time, a teacher is driving on the road when the monster suddenly appears in front of him. The teacher loses control of the car and hits the monster. He gets out to check, but is shocked to find the monster gone. Suddenly, the monster appears behind him, knocks him down, and eats him. Later, Wednesday sneaks into her mother's room to look for the book but doesn't find it. Morticia enters and says she knew Wednesday would come looking for the book and wouldn't hide it in the box. Wednesday tells her she had a vision in which she saw herself surrounded by crows, with a crow with red eyes standing on Enid's grave, and Enid blaming her for her death. She realizes that this crow is the same one who killed Galba and Carl, and she wants to find the real killer because these are not random attacks. Someone who controls birds is behind it, and she must find them before they get to Enid. She asks for the book back because she believes the answer is inside, but Morticia refuses, saying she won't find any answers, only things that will cause her great pain. She tells Wednesday she doesn't have the patience of her sister Ophelia, who let her superpower drive her to madness. Wednesday says she is not her sister and leaves. The next day, Wednesday searches Galba's phone for anything to help her find the killer. Meanwhile, Enid is busy picking out clothes for the camping party. Wednesday talks to Sing about her vision of Enid's death, and suddenly, Agnes appears. She stands in front of her and tells her that she listened to her, so she warns her, and Enid says that if anyone finds out about this, she will kill her. Agnes promises her that this matter will remain a secret between them, and tells her that she can help her greatly, but Enid refuses to accept any help from her. At that moment, we see Jasley and Eugene after they manage to find the monster and tied it up again inside the cabin. They notice that its brain has started to form, and none of them know the reason. It turns out that the monster fed on the driver's brain when it killed him. Suddenly, the monster utters a word, and Jasley is happy, thinking it is saying his name, but Eugene tells him that it is saying the word brain, which means it feeds on brains. But Jasley doesn't believe him. At that moment, the monster attacks Eugene to eat him, but Jasley shocks it and puts it back in its place. Meanwhile, Enid agrees for Agnes to help her and is amazed by her skill, as she can change people's appearances according to their descriptions, and she also has many things she brought from Galba's house. Enid searches through these things and finds a picture of a specific cabin with Cabin 2015 written on the back. She opens the map to look for the cabin's location and manages to find it. She notices that the cabin is near the campsite where the school requested to camp that night, so she decides to go to the camp. There, she is surprised to see her brother carrying a black coffin. She asks him what's inside, and he tells her he put some fireworks in it, but it turns out he hid the monster inside the coffin so he wouldn't leave it alone, which becomes clear when the coffin moves, but Jasley kicks it to quiet it. At that moment, everyone is surprised when the scout team leader, Ron, comes to talk to Barry, and they find out that the campsite land belongs to them, and that he has the ownership papers. Barry argues with him, saying he has the right to the campsite, and Enid steps in and suggests they hold a competition between their team and the scouts, and whoever wins gets to stay on the land. They like the idea and agree. The competition begins, with each team guarding its egg from the other team. The team that puts the egg on the tower wins. At first, the scouts manage to take the egg from the Nevermore team, but Enid acts quickly and gives orders to Sing to carry out their plan. Sing signals Eugene, who uses bees to counter the scouts' smoke. Enid manages to get to the egg and sees one of the scouts taking it up the tower, but she reaches the tower faster and places the egg at the last moment, winning the competition. At night, Enid leaves the camp and goes to cabin 2015, searching for anything that could help her find the killer. She finds a hidden place with pictures of many outcasts, all of whom died over the year. She finds the name Lewis written on the wall, so she puts her hand on the wall, hoping to have a vision and learn the truth, but she fails due to her weak power. She decides to retrieve Judy's book at any cost. At that moment, the Raven is standing behind the glass, watching them. Enid goes to her mother and asks her one last time to give her the book, but her mother still refuses. Enid challenges her to a duel in the forest, and her mother agrees. Meanwhile, the monster attacks the scout leader and eats his brain. The rest of the scouts are terrified and run away. At the same time, Enid and her mother start their duel, with Sing as the referee. Jasley and Eugene discover that the monster ate the scout leader's brain and are shocked. Suddenly, Agnes appears and tells them the monster escaped from the tent and they must find it, because it's dangerous. Meanwhile, the monster moves through the camp and leaves for the forest until it sees Enid dueling her mother. At that moment, Morticia wins the duel, but Enid throws her sword with force to stop the monster before it reaches and eats. She manages to hit the monster in the head and pins it to the tree. Then the police arrive, arrest it, tie it up, and take it away. At that moment, Enid sees a mysterious person with a raven on his shoulder. Suddenly, that person Enid returns to her room and starts analyzing all the evidence she has gathered to find out why Galb and Carly were investigating the ravens, because if they hadn't, they wouldn't have died. The next day, we see Fairborn welcoming Marilyn at the hospital and asking her to go to her son Taylor to help treat him. Marilyn agrees and goes to Taylor, who turns into a monster and strangles her as soon as he sees her. She apologizes to him and tells him she will make up for everything that happened. Taylor calms down and throws her to the ground. Meanwhile, Enid starts searching the cemetery for the remains of the outcasts who died, and is surprised when her grandmother visits her in the cemetery. She tells her that her mother invited her to attend the fundraising party. The grandmother asks her why she is interested in searching for the outcasts' bodies, so Enid tells her about the case she is investigating and that her mother refused to give her Judy's book to help her find the solution. Suddenly, the raven attacks the place and takes Enid's papers and flies away. Enid runs after it, hoping to catch it, but fails. She returns to her grandmother and asks her to buy the entire cemetery so she can search it freely. It turns out her grandmother loves Wednesday and agrees to her request. When Enid returns to her room, she finds Agnes waiting for her. Enid tells her that the person controlling the birds knows they are investigating him, so they don't have much time left and must stop him before he kills him. Enid says that after the new evidence she has seen, most of the answers will be found in the mental hospital. Then Enid goes to meet her uncle Foster and asks him to get into the mental hospital. While they are talking, Foster accidentally shocks Agnes, and she appears before them. Foster is annoyed by her presence because he doesn't like anyone spying on him. Enid asks Foster to search the hospital for someone named Lewis, but he makes a scene in the hotel and the hotel manager calls the police and he is arrested. At the police station, Foster acts crazy and eats the cactus on the desk. The police chief asks the officer to call the mental hospital to come and take him, which is exactly what Foster wanted to happen. We learn that this was the plan to get him into the mental hospital. We go back to Enid, who is with her mother, and then the grandmother arrives and gives her the ownership deeds for the cemetery that she bought for her. Morticia doesn't like what happens is that she asks Wednesday to leave her alone with her grandmother, and after Wednesday leaves, Morticia asks her mother about what is going on between her and Wednesday. The grandmother refuses to tell her anything and advises her to let her daughter act freely and not try to monitor her every move so that her daughter doesn't drift away from her. Here, the grandmother surprises Morticia and tells her that she agrees to donate to the school, but on the condition that she returns Judy's book to Wednesday. However, Morticia refuses and throws the book into the fire. At that moment, Fester is in the mental hospital and Verbone is surprised by the number of passports and fake names he uses. She asks him about his real name, and while they are talking, Verbone's assistant comes in and gives her an X-ray of Fester's head. They are shocked to find his head full of metal pieces. Here, Verbone agrees to keep him in the hospital until she examines his condition, and Fester feels reassured because his plan is going as he wants. As soon as Fester joins the patients, he starts asking about Louis, but he can't find her. At that time, the bird controller appears, watching Nevermore Academy from a high place. Wednesday sees him while she is with Agnes. Agnes tells Wednesday that August is the chief doctor at the mental hospital, but before he was appointed there, he worked as a teacher at Nevermore Academy, and that August entered the hospital because he had a nervous breakdown that affected his thinking. Wednesday quickly goes to tell Singh that she wants to send an urgent message to Fester and asks him to go to the hospital and look for August because he is the one who will help him reach Louis. At that time, Enid comes to talk to Wednesday and tells her she's surprised because Wednesday has been busy and distant lately. While they are talking, Wednesday notices that the school is filling up with crows. Wednesday thinks this is the moment when Enid will die, so she asks her to go hide quickly, but neither of them has time to do anything because the bird controller signals the crows to attack. The crows attack all the students. Chaos ensues and a crow grabs Singh and flies up with him. But Barry hits it with a fireball and forces it to let go of Singh. Enid runs quickly and catches Singh before he hits the ground and dies. At that same moment, Wednesday glimpses the bird controller escaping, so she runs after him to catch him, but he disappears without a trace. Wednesday takes the cloak that fell from him and continues on her way until she finds Verbone standing in front of her. She is surprised to see her at the school at that time and suspects that she is the bird controller. Verbone tells her she came to take Capri with her to the hospital because she wants to treat the patients with music. Capri comes and is surprised that Wednesday and Verbone know each other. Suddenly, they hear Verbone's car horn. Verbone tells them that her assistant is rushing her so they can return to the hospital, and she leaves. Wednesday notices that Capri is breathing quickly, guesses it's because of running, and asks her why she's breathing so fast, but Capri doesn't answer and changes the subject, asking if Wednesday will participate in the school's music concert. This makes Wednesday suspicious of her, but she doesn't show it, leaves her and goes to watch Singh get into Verbone's car, as this is a good opportunity for him to go to the hospital and contact Fester. Morticia comes and asks Wednesday why she sent Fester to the mental hospital, so Wednesday tells her that Fester is helping her with her case and that she won't allow Enid to die because of her. Morticia reminds her of the birds that attacked them and the danger to Singh's life, and asks her to stop what she's doing or things will get worse. At the hospital, Fester is surprised when he sees Singh and learns from him that Wednesday wants him to look for August, as he is the one who will lead him to Louis. Fester immediately starts searching for August until he finds him sitting alone and silent. Fester tells him that he is looking for Louis, but August only speaks through the parrot on his shoulder. Fester shocks him with a taser to make him tell the truth, and the parrot gives him a certain number, which Fester understands is related to Louis. At the same time, Wednesday goes to Orlov and asks if he knows anything about a teacher named August. He tells her that all he knows is that August has a daughter. Wednesday asks if his daughter's name is Louis, but he says he doesn't remember. Wednesday has no choice but to go to the hospital herself. At the hospital, Fester takes August to his room, and August points to the maintenance room, repeatedly saying the name Louis. Fester is confused but continues. After taking August to his room, Fester returns to the maintenance room, but is surprised to find Verbone there with security guards, and they arrest him. Verbone takes him to the interrogation room, and brings the monster that was caught at the school to scare Fester and force him to tell the truth, threatening to let the monster eat him. Singh sees what is happening and quickly goes to inform Wednesday. Wednesday orders him to return to the hospital and stay with Fester until she finds a way to get into the hospital and rescue him. Then Wednesday sits with Agnes and tells her that Capri will go to the hospital to start a music therapy session there, and that this is their chance to go with her to the hospital, get inside, free Fester, and find Louis. Wednesday starts planning and explains it to Agnes. Busted. Enid comes and asks about her role. Wednesday is afraid Enid will refuse and be upset, so she lets her participate and tells her that her job is to keep watch, and if she gets caught or something big happens, to call the police immediately. Wednesday gets into the trunk of Capri's car. At the same time, Agnes and Enid arrive at the hospital and wait for her. When Capri arrives, Agnes uses her stealth skills to sneak into the bathroom without being seen, and sets off fireworks to distract the security guards before they search Capri's car and discover Wednesday. Wednesday uses this distraction to enter the hospital unnoticed. The woman Fester met in the hospital helps Wednesday by hiding her in the food cart and taking her towards Fester's cell. Wednesday steals a security guard's ID card, opens the cell, frees Fester, and they go to look for Louis. But the monster that was in the cell with Fester follows them. Meanwhile, the guards are taking Marlene to her cell, but the monster attacks them and kills them. Marlene takes advantage of the opportunity to escape, and Wednesday is shocked to see her in front of her, but continues on her way with Foster, and suddenly Verbone and Capri hear a commotion outside the place. The security officer comes and informs Verbone of everything that's happening, so Verbone orders them to activate the emergency plan quickly. At that moment, Foster and Wednesday head to the maintenance room, and Foster uses the number the parrot mentioned to unlock the lock. As soon as they enter, they start looking for Louis, and Wednesday discovers a secret door inside the room with a staircase behind it. Before they go down, they find a sentence written on the wall, and at that moment, Wednesday realizes that Louis is not a person, but rather the initials of a secret experiment being conducted on the patient. They go down the stairs, which lead to many underground cells, and when Wednesday searches the cells, she discovers that the outcasts are still alive, and that they didn't die as the newspaper said. Wednesday understands that the hospital administration faked their deaths in order to experiment on them. At that moment, Wednesday tells Foster that Gleb was afraid his son would be subjected to the same experiment. Suddenly, Wednesday is shocked when the bird controller appears, accompanied by the red-eyed raven. Wednesday is even more shocked when she discovers that Verbone's assistant is the bird controller, and even more so when she learns that she is August's daughter, and that her father was conducting experiments on outcasts to use their supernatural abilities on humans. When her father became ill, she decided to continue his work, saying that she herself is the greatest proof of her father's experiments' success, as she was born an ordinary human but, thanks to her father's experiments, gained the ability to control birds easily. At that point, Foster strikes her with a bolt to get rid of her, but a huge explosion occurs, cutting off all the electricity. Meanwhile, Agnes and Enid are outside the hospital and are shocked by what happened. Enid takes out her phone and calls the police. Inside the hospital, all the cells open and the outcasts escape, chasing after August's daughter to take revenge on her for the experiments she performed on them, except for the last prisoner, who stays in her cell. Wednesday goes to her and helps her escape. At that moment, the monster begins to gradually regain his human form due to the minds he feeds on amid the chaos. Meanwhile, Marilyn reaches her son Taylor's cell and frees him from his restraints, then hugs him and tells him she came to save him. But Taylor tells her she's the cause of all his suffering and that she treated him as a servant to fulfill her wishes. Marilyn realizes that Taylor wants to kill her, tries to save herself and tells him that Wednesday is in the hospital and urges him to go take revenge on her quickly. Taylor tells her that he will take revenge on Wednesday, but he must take revenge on Marilyn first. Marilyn flees before he transforms into a monster and kills her. He does transform, chases her, catches her, and kills her. Then he goes looking for Wednesday to kill her and take revenge. At that moment, all the patients run out of the hospital. Meanwhile, Verbone is in her office with August, when suddenly the monster attacks and kills her, then approaches August and kills him too. At the same time, Wednesday is with the patient, helping her escape, but is surprised when Taylor appears in front of her. The patient tells Wednesday to run and stands in front of Taylor to confront him. Taylor hits her hard, throws her out the window, and she lands on the ground. At that moment, the police arrive and shoot at Taylor, but the bullets have no effect. He attacks them, kills many, and runs into the forest. At that point, Singe goes to Wednesday to check on her, and is worried when he finds her lying on the ground, bleeding. This is where the first part of the second season of the series ends. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to subscribe to the channel.